Either in here discussing essay number 2, Game of Thrones through a feminist lens. So we had the peer criteria worksheet, and it says to begin off, sources. Um, what does the author identify as a source? So your source is Game of Thrones. You are discussing the entire series, the entire show, not really one episode in specific, but as a whole, what is going on from season 1 to season 7. So you got that. Um, Looking through it all, you got the MLA format good. You're just missing the header, and then just maybe some more refinement, making sure everything's good, but that's all good. Second is the thesis. Now, as I read your thesis, I'm a bit confused if I'm being honest, but maybe that's just because I'm not reading it correct. But it's showing. But let's just read it out. I think this is where it begins by letting characters overcome their oppression and abuse of a patriotic society leads to greater character development and has allowed the show to be successful and all. Now that I read it, actually, it does kind of make sense. But maybe a little bit more refinement. I'm not saying that it's terrible, or I'm not saying that I know what it is, how good it is, or how bad it is, but maybe having a second opinion of someone who really knows their English well can be, beneficial. So, and then as I continue to read on through, it says this: the next thing on the peer criteria is hypnosis. Um, does the student author identify a clear overview? So in the thesis, you're saying what's going on, but you don't really talk about like what you're gonna discuss. You kind of just discuss what's going on and how the show has been so successful, instead of talking about what you're gonna be talking about in your thesis and in your essay, and discussing why it'll be why your body paragraphs and the things you'll be discussing, why it adds to the feminist lens, what is going on through the feminist lens. So I think that's something you could revise, something that'd be beneficial for you. Your organization is there. I mean, you have that basic outline, intro, summary of the summary, first character, second, third, fourth, and then conclusion. So I know your outline, like what it is and what you're discussing. Maybe a little smaller on the summary because it's a little long, but I mean that's something I would change if it was my essay. But do you? Um, so your research, you have research. I mean, you have a quote from GGR, and then you have a couple quotes from the show. But I don't really see any extra. Now that I'm looking through it, any extra research or any quotes from other sources that we're supposed to use. That's something you might have to look into, for your final draft. Just because it's you're supposed to have 3 sources from the school, like research websites that you can use, and then so that might be beneficial to review that. Um, Now, when you talk about in each paragraph about the first, second, and third characters, you have a quote or you have some type of idea or research that from the show, and you discuss it. But you don't. But maybe you don't really discuss it in a sense of like you discuss it in like a summarizing view instead of like how it's beneficial to back to the thesis, like a feminist lens. How this not only makes sense in the show, but how it also adds on to like today's society. I know it's a fictional, show, but how specific things like this can be maybe like benefit today's society and why it's making it better in a sense. How today's society is better than how it was because of this show. It might be something that you can add on to. Um, and then maybe your proofing and overall editing. Just like a couple more reviews, having other people read it, going to the TLC maybe, and then just making sure that it's perfect is something grammar wise, because I know I have problem with grammar, is something that could be extremely beneficial, specifically for me. So that's just my peer review, and good luck.